These are the women's floor finalists. Mila Perpic of Croatia, the reigning Balkan Junior champion. Georgia May Fenton of Great Britain. Liao Yichun of Chinese Taipei. Naomi Visser of the Netherlands. Zhao Jiayi of the People's Republic of China, who's already had success on the uneven bars. Melanie de Jesus dos Santos of France, top qualifier on floor, and she won the uneven bars title. Jade Barbosa of Brazil, third best in qualification. All-around bronze medalist at the World Championships in 2007. And Morgane Ossisek of France, the second best in qualification, and the bronze medalist on floor at the last Mediterranean Games. The men's parallel bars qualifiers. We've just seen that they're giving a wave to the crowd. Rasul Ahmadzada of Azerbaijan, then Andrei Muntean of Romania, Kerem Şener of Turkey, and Tieno Diallo of Spain. The bronze medalist from the last European Championships, won in Antalya, albeit in a different arena. Before that we had Radomir Stelmach, Vladimir Kostyuk, Nicolau Mir, Med Kulucher. They will be the first four to go. The finalists in the men's parallel bars competition in Antalya, and Andrei Muntean of Romania was the top performer in the preliminary round with 14.65. He will be the antepenultimate gymnast. The finalists in the women's floor competition, and the top performer in qualification, Melanie de Jesus dos Santos, will go 6th in the order. The warm-ups have been concluded, and we now turn our attention to the men's parallel bars and women's floor finals in Antalya, the first World Challenge Cup of 2024. Well, it's a really enjoyable opportunity this to look at a 15-year-old from Rijeka on the northern Adriatic coast of Croatia, Mila Perpic. She is the reigning Balkan Junior champion on vault and beam, and also won the silver medal on the uneven bars on floor and in the all-around competition. She did that in Istanbul in 2023, and she's also the reigning Croatian all-around junior national champion. It is her first ever senior international final, and we wish her enormous luck on this milestone moment in her career. Mila Perpic. Congratulations, Mila Perpic, on a first ever performance in an FIG World Cup final. Great accomplishment, whatever position she finishes in. And some nice signs there from a very decorated gymnast in the regional event that is the Balkan Championships at junior level. They're so important, these competitions, when it comes to bringing the next generation through. Yes, they're very important for those gymnasts like Sanne Wevers, who we saw in the balance beam competition, looking to get into form ahead of the big one, but they're also early markers in careers for youngsters. Here is a youngster in Radomir Stelmach of Ukraine. Fourth best in the preliminary round. He's already made it onto the podium today. Had a very small reset in his tippelt. He dismounts nicely, Radomir Stelmach. I'm getting more accustomed now to seeing him in World Cup finals. And a good thing too. 12.567 for Mila Perpic. That is virtually the same as qualification. Georgia May Fenton of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland on floor. Fifth best in qualification. She's been very busy today, involved in several finals. That routine opened with some very well performed pirouetting from Georgia May Fenton. She's a gymnast with such a sense of style and comfort when she's performing at her best. Hugely experienced, capable of some massive scores as well, as she's demonstrated in big team contributions over the years at World Championship level and big individual performances, especially at competitions like the Commonwealth Games. Vladimir Kostyuk of Ukraine. Beautifully steady in the handstand. His scoring qualification 13.7. The highest was 14.65. Avsar. Had a little sense of imprecision there. Just lost the tidiness perhaps of the legs. But he had plenty of tidiness in his dismount. Wladimir Kostyuk following Radomir Stelmach. It's so nice to see Kostyuk back in international competition. He said that he belongs in gymnastics and is thankful to everyone who's believed in him and has given him hope during that time away from the sport. He had some very challenging injuries. And as I mentioned earlier, he's spent the time away from the competition, much of the time serving in the armed forces of Ukraine. He is somebody who has represented his nation in more ways than one. Liao Yichun of Chinese Taipei, the 6th best in qualification. She made her debut at the World Championships last year. Georgia May Fenton unsurprisingly leads with that display, 13.3, exactly as she performed in qualification. Liao Yichun was 5th on floor at the Asian Championships in Singapore last year. That's where she made her senior international debut. This is her first World Cup competition. New to World Cup competition, but already a continental finalist, Liao Yichun of Chinese Taipei. 13.65 for Wladimir Kostyuk. He's in 2nd position behind Radomir Stelmach. We're just waiting to confirm the score for Stelmach. Now we go to Nicolau Mir of Spain, 3rd in qualification and 3rd to go in this parallel bars final. What a nice smooth action coming out of the tippelt. And a very good looking double pike. I think there was a slight movement on the landing, hard to tell without having his feet in shot. But lots about that, suggestive of a decent score. 14.15 in qualifying. He is a physiotherapy student at the University of the Balearic Islands in Palma de Mallorca. And there it is again, that poised piece of work after completing Sven Tippelt's eponymous skill. .13 for Liao Yichun, just 1/10 shy of her qualification score, so Fenton remains in the lead. Now to Naomi Visser of the Netherlands, 7th best in qualification with 13.05. The gymnast who was 6th on floor at the last World Championships. New orchestration, a new look routine for Naomi Visser. Different tumbling. Nicolau Mir, 14.8, the best execution score that we've seen, and up from qualification by quite some way. Mert Kulacer of Turkey, 6th best in qualification. It was at the National Championships on parallel bars where he really impressed the senior members of the national team. They said he showed enormous development, showed that he was ready to be in their ranks and helping them build these strong team scores. And after all, the Turkish men have for the first time qualified a full team to the Olympiad. So for all of the Turkish men, this is such a massive year in terms of making themselves known to the selection panel. Nearly, oh so nearly for Kulacer, but the hand goes down and a mark comes off. He's got some nice work though. He's from Yeni Mahalle, the municipality in Ankara province that literally means the new quarter. And of course, like anything called new quarter in a European city, it's one of the oldest bits. It was established hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There's a bridge over the Ankara River built in 1222 on the old trading route to Baghdad that still remains. Not in control of the landing, almost bounces off the heels. We're going to see the top qualifier in the second half of this women's floor final. Melina Jesus dos Santos, winner on the uneven bars. looking for what would be a 10th World Cup medal in total. She has, as many of you will remember, been a European champion twice on floor. Naomi Visser scores 12.6. Execution-wise, there were a few issues throughout, including with some of the pirouettes, but it's a new routine, so it must be given time to bed in. It is utterly at opposition to the voila routine that she was using for some time before that. 12.85 for Mert Kurucher. That has him in 4th place at the halfway stage. Next on floor is Zhao Jiayi of the People's Republic of China, 4th best in qualification, bronze medalist at the National Championships in 2022. Zhao Jiayi of the People's Republic of China, 4th best in qualification. She pirouettes like somebody eagerly corkscrewing open a bottle of local pomegranate wine. Some very powerful work with her turning. Now from Azerbaijan, Rasul Ahmadzada. Congratulations to this young man. He's 19 and it's his first senior international final. He said after qualification, my goal is to raise our flag first in the final and then on the podium. Well, one step at a time for this youngster who's shown real promise and is obviously so proud to wear his national colours in a big televised final. And he's got some nice work so far. Very small reset, but for the most part he's performed quite cleanly. Holds that landing well. A little bit of leg bend perhaps in the pike position. Hard to see clearly from that angle, but what a nice start to international finals for him. 13.3 for Zhao Jiayi. That's the same score as Georgia May Fenton. but second place by the looks of things on the tie-break criteria. Will confirm that in due course. Melanie de Jesus dos Santos of France, top qualifier with a real chance of victory. She was almost half a mark better than anyone else. Four times the champion of Europe, including twice on floor, Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. 23 now, as this young man, Rasul Ahmadzada, scores 13.3. And that's an improvement of a few hundredths from qualification. Good luck to him as he goes back home and now probably trains more vigorously and with great determination, having made it onto an international stage and have tasted what it's like to be in a final. Here's the gentleman who is favoured to win this, Andrei Muntean of Romania, 14.65 in qualification. Such an experienced parallel bars gymnast. There's a little flicker setting back up to handstand, but he's got single rail work here that will set his difficulty quite apart from many others. Good flight in the Bavzar. That was one of the best looking we've seen. He looked so controlled, bringing the legs up into handstand. That's very graceful out of the Tippelt. And the double pike to dismount, hop forwards, but it's good from Andrei Muntean. He is a graduate of sports physiology from the National Academy of Physical Education and Sport in Bucharest. Has been training for years at the Dinamo Bucharest club. There's no surprise there to see Melanie de Jesus dos Santos in the lead, 13.6. Jade Barbosa of Brazil, the third best performer in qualification. She is the reigning Brazilian all-around national champion. She won her second title after winning the first in 2007. She is remarkable. There have been occasions when one imagined that we would never see Jaj Barbosa again. So much injury difficulty has she gone through, and so hard has she worked to come back. But you know what? With Jaj Barbosa, you still believe. Andre Muntian, 14.15. He goes into third place. Now we look at Kerem Şener of Turkey. Medalist at the national championships. He's also the reigning all-around national champion. 8th best in qualification. Twenty-year-old Kerem Şener to a warm reaction from the local crowd watching on. Penultimate gymnast to compete in this parallel bars final. The last to go will be Morgan Osisek. The leader at the moment is Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. Then it is Fenton, then Zhao, but we'll see what comes in for Jaj Barbosa, who scored 13.35 in qualification. Well, that score is not toxic, and she's certainly not slipping under, because Jaj Barbosa has gone into the gold medal position with a brilliant display, 13.833. Now to Morgan Osisek of France. The last to go, and she was the second best in qualification with 13.45. It's going to be an interesting conclusion to this women's floor final, because we have Barbosa on 13.833. De Jesus dos Santos on 13.6, and then Fenton on 13.3. Kerem Şener just missing out, 13.7 for him, 4th place. It's Mir, followed by Stelmach, followed by Muntian. Tieno Diallo, second best in qualification with 14.55. And in this city, in a different arena, he won the bronze medal at the European Championships last year. In his first ever individual final at European or world level. That's a shame. The single rail work is undoing. Gosh, he does get a real attack in the Bavzar. It's powerful. It really has been so enjoyable to watch him as a gymnast, getting better and better over the last few years. He was part of the Spanish team that won gold at the Mediterranean Games way back in 2018, as she has got onto the podium. 13.667 for Morgana Osisek. I thought it might be an interesting finish, and she has taken silver just ahead of her own teammate Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. So ultimately all of the medals coming from those last 3 performances. We look back at Tieno Diallo. Celebrations for the victor, Judge Barbosa. 12.75 for Tieno Diallo. That the men's parallel bars victory ceremony, and a bronze medal won by Andrei Muntean of Romania. World Cup medal number 10 for him. He returns to the scene of his biggest World Cup triumph, a gold medal won in Turkey in 2018. The winner of the silver medal, Radomir Stelmach of Ukraine, on the podium once again. A really good competition for him in Antalya. And stepping up by 6/10 from qualification to a score of 14.5. But this was quite a display from Nicolau Mir. 14.8 after a 14.15 in qualification. Excellent accomplishment. A gain of around 3/4 of a mark for the Spaniard. The man from Mallorca with a magical display. The national anthem of Spain. The Marcha Real, the national anthem of Spain, played in honour of Nicolau Mir and his fellow medalists in the men's parallel bars competition. The music was originally written by Manuel de Espinosa de los Monteros in 1761. It was first adopted in 1770. It is one of the oldest national anthems out there. The victory ceremony in the women's floor competition. The bronze medal awarded to France's Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. She came in as the top performer in qualification, and she leaves this World Cup in Antalya with a gold medal and a bronze medal. A fine haul for her. Morgane Osisek, her own international teammate, just finishing ahead of her to take second place in the silver medal. A score of 13.667. France winning bronze and silver, but the gold medal goes to a veteran Brazilian, Jade Barbosa, the 32-year-old based in Curitiba, who first competed at the Olympic Games in Beijing in 2008, continues to prove that she can reinvent herself, that she can perform and indeed win at the highest level. With a brilliant score of 13.833, Jade Barbosa is the World Cup champion in Antalya. And we will have now the national anthem of Brazil. The medalists in the women's floor competition. The national anthem of Brazil, the Hino Nacional Brasileiro, played in honour of Jade Barbosa.